I gave myself 4 days to master typing. So I went from this to this. And if you're asking why I'm doing this for a job. Because, but also to regain my dignity. Many years ago, back in 3rd grade, ICT was my favorite subject because it mostly demanded on who can type the fastest. And me myself was a pretty fast typer. And the first one to finish could play on those broken ass computers. You know those computers that look like the Roblox noob if he was chopped up? And with the classic $50 Acer monitor. But back to the subject. I played on those computers until the end of the lesson. So you know I was hitting those blocks every day. Everything was perfect. I was known as the fastest typer and played Minecraft for most of the lesson. But like all good things, they never last. So everything changed when a new student came in class. I won't say his real name, so let's just call him Fred. The teacher gave us a mini project to do. And he gave us a choice to work solo or to choose a teammate. And the students who worked solo are normally the cool, badass people. And of course, I chose solo as a kid. Normally, I'm the only one who works solo, but this time, Fred also worked solo. And I looked at him for a second and he was typing at sonic speed. And class after class, he took the title of the best typer of the year. Not even class. So he's the fastest of all 4 classes. That's 120 students. Okay, that sounded a bit childish. Back then, I was a bit sad because he stole my title. But I had a plan that he couldn't see coming. Do I tell you what I did? I did nothing. I just sat at the sad corner. Until now. And this wouldn't only lift up my dignity. At any moment, Mr. Beast could come flying through the window with a $1 million typing competition. You never know these days. But what I know, I want to be better than Fred. So let's start working. Day 1 was a pretty simple day. I first started with Type Racer to see my WPM, aka word per minute. On my first try, I got a 37 word per minute, but I needed to get higher to reach Fred's level, so I tried again, and I got a 43 word per minute. I called that success. Not gonna lie, I got a bit lazy, and the Elden Ring DLC was also in the back of my mind, thinking of different ways how to beat Radon. And after 3 hours of fighting Radon, went back to bed. At the start of the second day, I dedicated myself to work as hard as I can. One memory of Fred was enough to motivate me and pull me through this. So I started the day with another typing test and got a rate of 40 words per minute. Yes, it's less than yesterday's score. But considering that yesterday's score was only a line and a half, I think that my 40 words per minute is my best till now. Practicing normally wasn't gonna be good enough to beat Fred. So I learned some typing techniques. Some were obvious, like to look at the next word while writing the previous one. But then I found the best technique out of them all. It could get you from 20 to 30 words per minute, all the way to 80 words per minute. The technique is about using all your 10 fingers at the same time. This happens by giving each finger a column or 2 of letters, so they could type all at the same time, like shown in the picture. I'm not going into detail because it's obvious itself, but here comes the problem. It takes so long to get used to it, and I only have 4 days to train. It could be handy for the future, but not for the challenge. The day was coming to an end, and I needed to script the next video that I can't tell you about yet, and that was pretty good training itself. On day 3, all my mind was focused on typing, maybe a bit on the DLC. But more importantly, I focused all my time to memorize where the letters are on the keyboard. Obviously, because it would save tons and tons of time. The dream of catching up to Fred and beating him is starting to come to reality. So after lots of memorizing, I did the type racer and got a 48 word per minute. It was pretty close to 50, but we're gonna get there soon. I wrapped everything up and got ready for the final day and went to sleep. But this time, I had a dream, or maybe called a nightmare. It showed me memory after memory of Fred, of him sitting in ICT class, typing as fast as he can, stealing the title, giving me trauma. Maybe that's gonna be a bit too much. Fred was no ordinary person. He was the final boss. A second later, we were teleported to space. Me and Fred, also there were 50s floating around space. But it was no ordinary detail. It's like if they wanted to tell me a message. Me and Fred had an epic anime fight, shooting letters at each other. Then, after a short period of time, a big white flash flashed into our eyes, and I woke up from my dream. I sat there curious, thinking who won, but I was gonna find out myself. But I was thinking about the number 50 floating around space all that time. It wasn't a coincidence. So I concluded that I need to get at least 50 words per minute to beat Fred and end this for all. Or, after all of those hard work, dreams, fighting, all put to nothing. Not only that, my dignity and Mr. Beast's potential $1 million competition will be all let down. So I opened Type Racer for one final time for all the marbles and clicked start. And this happened.
Yes! Let's go!
I might have seemed happy, but I later concluded that it was a bit unfair because the lines were way too short, and it was gonna keep bugging me if the only way that I beat Fred was by cheesing him. So I went for another round and got this.
Holy shit, I did so good!
I was very proud of myself, but again, way too short. So I went for the final one. And I don't care if it's way too long or way too short, so I refreshed the page and started.
You motherfucker!
Maybe I didn't beat Fred, but at least I improved a lot. I went from 37 to 56 words per minute. Or 47, whatever you believe. Sometimes in life, you gotta accept defeat and move on with your life.